Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this super simple cave house that has a large farming area, a large multi-purpose crafting area, a full enchantment room, and also a brewing room in Minecraft. I do hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial. If you do and you're new around here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button, as that'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. Before we begin building everybody, here are all of the base materials that we will need to make our survival house. Please do make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of those materials as well. We will be using more decorative materials later, however I will leave that up to you. I am going to be building my house against this short cliff face here. I'd recommend an area that is at least this big, probably about 20 or so blocks wide, and at the very least 7+ blocks tall. Pause the video if you have to, gather all of those materials, make sure that you've got somewhere cool to make it, and once you're ready, we can begin. Step 1, my friends. The first thing that I'm going to do is clear this cliff face. I want to build directly onto a smooth cliff. It doesn't have to be a large area. About 7 or so blocks wide will definitely be enough room. Begin your house by placing 3 oak planks on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. You then want to extend the lower half of the third oak wood plank to the left using 4 oak slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place an oak plank on the end and join down to the ground. What we then want to do is mark out where the door will go. The door is going to be positioned just here on the right hand side, so I'm going to destroy enough room to place a door, which is just these 2 blocks, and I'm also going to destroy underneath and place a diorite there instead, as that is going to be the interior floor. On top of that, I'm going to use an oak door, and left of the oak door, attaching to the frame, I'm going to place 2 oak planks. I want to place the windows. We are going to have 1 window here in between this pair of oak wood planks, set backwards from the frame. And in addition to this, we are going to have a long window coming across the top in between the pair of oak planks on the left and right. Grab your spruce wood slabs and place spruce wood slabs coming outwards on both sides from the lower halves of the upper oak planks. These spruce wood slabs can then be extended inwards and upwards. Eventually, they will reach an apex and they will join together at the top, like this. We want to extend these blocks backwards using oak wood slabs, and we want to join them to the back of the hill. What you will also want to do is you will very carefully want to place oak wood slabs on the inside of the roof as well, but preferably we are going to want to be able to see these 2 middle glass up at the top, as it is a cool design feature. The last little bit of detail that I want to add includes placing spruce doors backwards in front of the left and right sides of our window. It'll look a little something like this. What we now want to do, now that we have completed the outside of the house, and I'm quite happy with it, ladies and gentlemen, later on we will be adding some extra details. This is what your house will look like without adding any extra detail to the outside of the house. Once you have completed this, we can work on the inside of our house. There is a problem though. If we walk inside of our house, we're going to walk face first right into a stone wall. That's actually the first thing that we are going to take care of. I'd recommend popping a potion of night vision for this. So, I'm going to destroy 7 rows extending towards the back of the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It made it a little bit tricky there with the gravel, but we can count that later. I want to destroy enough space going left that we are able to connect to the oak wood planks on the opposite side of the window. And I'm also going to place oak wood planks left and right of the window as well. I'm going to destroy all of the space in the middle that we now have. We know roughly how far back we have to go. We just have to destroy all of the immediate living space inside of the house. We're going to work on the middle part of the house first. So this is roughly representative of what we should be looking at. I'm going to place 6 rows of oak planks extending backwards from this wall to make sure we have the right amount of space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like this. We have an extra row. We have a 7th row at the end here, but we can actually use this to our advantage, and we can just fill it all in using oak planks. That actually saves us destroying the wall. We also want to destroy all of this empty space here, or, well, it's not empty space, is it? It's stone. But we want to create empty space and fill it up using oak wood planks to create walls. The floor of our house, I am choosing to make diorite. You can use any materials that you like. I'm just trying to experiment a little bit, and I'm trying to use a couple of different other survival related materials, and I do happen to think that diorite is actually quite a nice one. I like the texture and the colour, but you use whichever you like. I would recommend creating some extra headroom. To do this, simply knock out an additional row above your head in the ceiling to give us 3 rows of workspace. Beware of falling gravel, it might hurt. Luckily, I'm wearing a hard hat. I'm going to remove this excess gravel here, and I'm going to place more oak wood planks inside of the top of the walls. The gravel really is making this difficult. We're going to place all of the oak wood planks around the top of the walls. Hopefully you guys don't have to deal with gravel or sand or any other gravity sort of blocks. We're going to make sure that next to the glass is also filled in using oak planks too. We want to create a ceiling. The ceiling is actually equivalent to the floor in the way that I'm going to use diorite to fill in the ceiling. The ceiling is of course just positioned 1 row higher than the actual walls itself. I'm going to be adding some light into the ceiling too. Once I have placed all of the diorite, there we go, we've got quite a nice looking room here. I'm going to pop another potion of night vision just to top myself up, and I'm going to get rid of these spruce doors and these glass bottles, and I'm going to grab redstone lamps and block of redstone. I'm going to place a light directly in the center of the ceiling. It should have 2 block space from the front, 2 block space from the back, 1 block space on the left and right, and I'm going to use blocks of redstone to power 4 redstone lamps. We are now going to create 2 separate rooms. I want to have an enchantment library. This is going to be positioned on the left end side of our cave house. I'm going to destroy a gap here 1 block away from the end, and I'm going to destroy about 3 or so rows in here. You can actually make this space as large as you like. I'm going to be completely filling this room up with bookshelves, but I am going to show you how to make a plain room just in case you have other plans. So this is what the room will look like. We've went back about 3 or 4 blocks here. It doesn't matter which really. I'm only going to need, I think about really, I'm only going to need 3 spacers extending backwards. So I'm going to turn this end wall here into oak planks. I'm going to destroy the walls on the left and right, and I'm going to use oak planks as well to keep the theme consistent throughout the entire house. And I'm going to turn the roof, and I'm going to turn the floor into diorite. The only thing is, once we have filled these parts in using diorite, I'm going to want to have a redstone lamp directly in the center of the ceiling here. Perfect. But that is what the entire room will look like. Very simple. In addition to this room, we're going to have an equivalent room on this side, and it's going to be made in the same way. So we're destroying about 3 or 4 blocks backwards. It kind of is completely up to you. And we are just going to make sure that we destroy enough room so that we can place the walls in. So I only want about a 3 rows going backwards. So I'm going to put oak wood planks on this back wall here. I only need 1 space to the left and 1 space to the right of me, so I can quite easily just place oak wood planks here on the left and right, just like this. So this is about enough space for me. And I'm just going to destroy in the ceiling, just been completely attacked by gravel. I'm going to destroy in the ceiling here, and also in the floor, and I'm going to place some diorite. Now, I don't feel as though that I have to pop another potion of night vision, because as soon as we add the extra lighting into the ceiling, which is going to be right in the middle here, a lot of gravel. I hope that you guys aren't having the same problems as me. We want to make the walls 3 blocks high, of course, just like with everywhere else. And then we want to add the diorite, kind of like in a donut shape, going all the way around the top of the ceiling like this. And then we're going to place a block of redstone and redstone lamp right in the top. And that's perfect. That will provide us enough light inside of our house. We have 3 empty rooms to work with. I'm pretty happy. So the only thing that I actually do want to show you how to do is you can create some cubby holes in the walls, if you like. And what I mean by cubby holes is, like, here is a good example. Like, here in this wall, you can destroy a gap, and you can either leave the stone there, or you can place some spruce wood slabs there instead, and you can place stuff in the walls, and it looks quite cool because it adds some depth. You can literally do this anywhere that you like this. You can add some depth to the walls. You want to be careful, like, you probably don't want to destroy this part, because if you destroyed this part and then you wanted to turn the wall into spruce planks, that doesn't work. But if you wanted to have a backing of oak, then that wouldn't be a problem, and the same would apply to here. So you could make larger cubby holes if you wanted to, and you don't have to stop there. You can do the same thing, of course, like all over the place if you do so choose. I'll leave that up to you though. You can apply those as you like. So now we have the entire inside of our house pretty much complete, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of structure. All we have to do is fill it up, of course. So let's do it. I think of this middle room as kind of a general purpose crafting area. So I'm going to need a bed, because that's pretty much required for every single house. But I'm going to place an array of crafting tables, cartography, fletching, smithing. We may not need all of these, but I just wanted to give you an example that we can actually fit all of this in here if we want. I'm going to place a furnace, a blast furnace, a smoker here as well. We could even use this little cubby hole here for additional furnaces if we wanted to. What we could also do is place a little bit of extra light using some lanterns. And we can add some more decoration and some more utility. We can use flower pots, orchids, armor stands, bells, anvil, grindstone, stone cutter, and some chests. So if we wanted to, we could place a stone cutter here in this cubby hole. We could place a chest here. We could place an armor stand, a flower pot with an orchid in there. I really like the orchid for some reason. We could even say, like, hang a bell above the door here if we wanted to. We could even have access to a grindstone. If we want, we can place chests in the floor if we did so choose, or we can simply just get rid of some of these and replace them with chests. This is kind of completely up to you, of course, because this is your house. Once we've done that, I have just noticed that underneath these windows here, it would actually be better if we swapped underneath the glass to diorite, just so that that looks a little bit better. But this is kind of what I have as an idea for the middle part of the house, the larger part of the house, a big general crafting area. Now, when it comes to the left part of the house, I'm keeping it simple. I'm going to turn all of these walls here into bookshelves. I'm going to turn all of the walls, the ceiling, and potentially the floor as well, into bookshelves to give us a nice enchantment area. The more books, the better. If you like, you do not have to destroy the floor and the ceiling, but I kind of like the feeling that the entire room is encompassed in this stuff, like this. And then I'm just going to stick an enchantment table right in the middle. There's something that I always feel, it always feels a little bit cozy to me, these kinds of rooms. But of course, you can do whatever you like. Now, moving on across to this room, this is going to be a brewing room. So what we can do in here is perhaps we can add, say, like a little light in one of the cubby holes, but we can place brewing stands in the others, and we can have a couple of cauldrons on one side, and a couple of cauldrons on the other side, and a barrel in the corner. And that's pretty much as simple as it can be. Perhaps we can swap the positions of the barrel from one side to another. But it's a pretty simple room, but I think that it will get the job done. And now that we have done the entire inside of the house, ladies and gentlemen, we can head on out to the outside, because there are some details that we can add out here that will make a big difference. So the first thing that I want to add out here is a wall, and I'm going to use diorite, spruce fence, and some spruce leaves to achieve the effect. On the left side here, I'm going to place a diorite to start the wall off, and I'm going to create a curve using some spruce fence that kind of just looks like this sort of shape here. I'm going to stick a diorite on the end, and I'm just going to place some spruce leaves around it, just to add a little bit of extra flavour to the wall. I want to create a, I don't know, it's kind of like a big torch sort of thing. And basically the way that we're going to make it is we're going to place a stripped dark oak wood, probably about here, and we're going to place a diorite wall on top and a campfire on top of there. And I'm just going to place oak signs around the diorite wall, and it's just going to look like, I don't know, like a brazier or just like some sort of big torch. I think it just adds a little something to the build. I want to add a couple of farms, so I'm simply just going to use a hoe, and I'm going to farm some beetroot. You can use whatever you like, of course, but I'm going to inhabit this little space here, probably in kind of like the same sort of shape that the actual wall is, like this. That's looking good. And I'm also going to just do the same here on the right, just so that we're kind of like boxing ourselves in a little bit. It just makes the build feel a little bit more like it's got some more boundaries if it's like this a little bit. We could even make this area bigger, to be honest with you. So again, just to kind of like feel as though that we're properly inhabiting an area like this. And I'm going to use some flowers for decoration. I'm going to need the shovel, cobblestone, and I'm going to need a little bit of diorite. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to place some azure bluets, or however you pronounce that, in front of this window. And I'm going to use the shovel just to kind of create a grass path. This is going to kind of like lead out of our little base here. And just in a couple of places, I'm just going to destroy a little bit of the grass path, and I'm going to place some cobblestone and some diorite as well. And we can do that on both sides. And once you've done that, you will have a nice cozy little home. Now, this is what the entire build will look like once it has been completed, ladies and gentlemen. We have the outside of our house done with the brazier, the farms, and the fence. And if we come inside, we have, first of all, a very large crafting multi-purpose area for the main room. We have a little brewing room off to the side. And we also, of course, have an enchantment library on the opposite side as well. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and click that little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love and appreciate all of you very, very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.